Hello, my name is Noor and I live in Leuven, Belgium. I've just finished my first year at DAE and wanted to share my experience online since I didn't find a lot of info myself when I was deciding what to study. What is DAE? DAE stands for Digital Arts and Entertainment. DAE is a professional bachelor's program that you can study at the University of Applied Sciences Howest in Kortrijk, Belgium. The program offers multiple majors, each specializing in distinct fields within the gaming and entertainment industry. Majors include
visual effects, 3D animation, game graphics production, independent game production, game design, and game sound integration.
You can find a lot of info about the different courses on the DAE website, but the curriculum does change very frequently, so beware of differences between the years. In this video, I will mostly be talking about the independent game production major, or IGP for short, since it's the one I follow. Why I chose DAE? I've always wanted to do game design, but it didn't work out for me as a hobby, since I felt I needed more guidance and encouragement to really get going. When finishing high school, no other courses really sparked my interest, so I decided to take a leap and enroll at DAE. I heard it was supposedly the best school for game development, and I live in Belgium already, so why not? It should be noted that I already had prior experience in 2D art, Python for data analysis, and C++ for electronics. Feel free to skip to chapters about the stuff you're curious about. DAE shares most of its buildings with the other Howest courses and with UGent. In my opinion, the buildings are very clean and the receptionists, cleaners and other staff there are very nice. There are desks and free Wi-Fi everywhere, so it's nice to study on campus as well. Though sometimes power outlets are hard to come by. DAE also has a building of its own as of now.
The Level.
The Level is the main hub for all DAE and doesn't have any large lecture halls, but small classrooms for lab sessions instead. If you went to an info day, you probably visited the Level. One of the campuses, the Square, is a bit further away, so you might need a bike or hire a bike at the station to get there quickly. There are multiple student restaurants around the campus. Warm meals cost around €6 and a sandwich about €3.6. In my opinion, the food is of decent quality, though most of the students like to get some fries or a burger instead. Here you can pay with a bank or student card. There are plenty of microwaves to reheat your own lunch, and you can also refill your water bottle for free almost everywhere. Kortrijk is located in West Flanders and it's known for its history in flax production, though I'm not sure you guys care about that stuff. Overall, it's a nice city with everything a student would need. The river Leie flows through the city, so you can take some nice walks. The train station is a 15-minute walk from all buildings except the Square, which is a 15-minute bike ride. It's a really nice ride though. The dorms in Kortrijk are a lot cheaper than in other Belgian cities, ranging from €350 to €500 a month. But this of course depends on how many luxuries you want. I pay €450 a month, which includes garbage bags, common rooms cleaning service, electricity and water. I share a kitchen with 3 people and a bathroom with 8 people. Not ideal. There is no shared living space at my dorm, but I'm okay with sacrificing those few luxuries since my dorm is very close to campus and the train station. As for sports, there are lots of parks where you can run, there's also a few gyms and there's also a swimming pool, so stay healthy. As a student, you should know that Kortrijk is not particularly known for being a party city. There are of course plenty of bars and student fraternities, but noticeably fewer than in other Belgian cities such as Ghent or Leuven. I don't know a lot about the going out culture here since I'm more of a homebody, but one of my dormmates succeeds in getting drunk every Thursday, so there's definitely not a lack of atmosphere. The school really tries to help students find a community. There are lots of fun clubs and activities,
Even lightsaber fighting.
Every Thursday, there is a study night on campus where you can work or ask for feedback from other students, or just have a drink at the bar. There's a lot of awareness regarding some common difficulties at school, and you can get study counseling or tutoring relatively easily if you make an appointment on time. There is also support for amenities, which you can check out on the Howest site. In DAE, all students get the extra time normally only granted for students with access to amenities. What I love most is that the students are so diverse. You have people from all over the globe and from all ages and backgrounds with the same passion. Pretty corny, but this past year has been super nice for me, and it's nice to have found a place where I really feel like I fit in. The DAE community is also very LGBTQ+ friendly, and you will have absolutely no difficulty in finding some like-minded peers. If you want to be included in any of this stuff, be sure to have a Discord account ready, because almost all of the community stuff is communicated through it. Even some of the teachers have their own Discord servers for questions. On the first day, they will share a QR code invite to the server. There are definitely a few cringe lords and queens walking around, but what do you expect of a gaming school? It's in my opinion really refreshing to see people just be themselves. The lecture halls can get pretty stinky sometimes, so I recommend sitting in the front where it's coolest. If you're a bit stinky yourself, don't forget to bring deodorant and take care of your hygiene. In my opinion, the IGP major boils down to learning to create your own games from start to finish. The study points are equally divided between art and programming, and there are also subjects about starting your own company and other relevant stuff. During my first year, I had the following subjects. I found that most of the subjects had a place in the curriculum, and the study points reflected the importance of the subjects well. Though I'm sure not a lot of students would agree with this take. The first year is the most theory-heavy year, which I think is fair. If you want more info about the subjects, you should check out the DAE website. I remember the first day, I was so nervous. I walked in and I got a sticker with my class group on it. Then we had some presentation about the school and how it's gonna go, but I was already whipping my head around trying to find somebody else for my class group, so I wouldn't have to awkwardly stand alone afterwards. It's always a bit scary to meet new people, but I figured I'd just force myself the first couple of days. I ended up taking that idea too far and had 2 classmates over for dinner on the very first day, but they still talked to me, so I guess they have forgiven my awkwardness. The only tough part for me socially was making new friends and having to see them struggle or even drop out. It's not like high school where you're stuck with everybody for multiple years. Everybody has their own path, and I guess I still need to adjust to that. I'm mostly just happy that I found my little space where I can be myself. I personally really liked the art courses, and I was pleasantly surprised by how much I liked 3D art. I only tried to make a few 3D models in my free time before DAE, and I found it all too finicky. I'd always figured I'd only make 2D games, but after seeing how fast I could improve in and enjoy 3D, I've definitely changed my mind. The 3D1 subject was in my opinion the perfect way to learn 3D. It was well organized and took small steps in making sure you knew all you needed to pass the exam. There was also plenty of time to ask for feedback from the teachers. This doesn't mean it was easy. If I remember correctly, only a few students of the Dutch group actually passed this exam in their first try. As an IGP major, you really need to learn lots of different skills, even though they don't exactly align with the games you want to make. But it's all part of the process and you might discover new things you enjoy along the way. I was very afraid I wouldn't be able to follow along with the programming subjects, but it turned out alright. Basics are prioritized above making whole games first, which I liked. Even though I'm still struggling with getting to know the ins and outs of Unity, I know with enough time I'll be able to hold my own when coding games, which I think is exactly the point. It's impossible to be great at everything, something I need to remind myself often. I do feel a bit intimidated to enter the industry. I went into DAE pretty oblivious about what it was all about. You don't really think about it most of the time, you're all just learning to create games together and having fun. but sometimes the feeling of competition suddenly creeps in. I remember one of the teachers showing old works of the second years and saying,
Make sure your stuff is better than this, because they already have a year head start in the industry.
Another teacher reassured me though, even if I feel like I'm not a valuable connection yet, it doesn't mean I cannot become that. Guess I'll just have to stick around and find out. The teachers recommend that you try to stand out in at least one subject, showing that you can excel with enough effort. But I feel like most students are just trying to pass first. I've only just finished my first year, so I've not experienced DAE to the fullest yet, and I'm just expressing my opinion based on what I've seen so far. Maybe the rose-tinted glasses fall off next year. Yes, a lot of people drop out. On average, 70% of students drop out in the first year, and 15% of students drop out in the second year. The course is very time-heavy, but with good time management, it's manageable. This really isn't the kind of course where you can crunch right before exam time. A consistent effort is needed. Sometimes that's linked to assignments, but sometimes you need to hold yourself accountable. You need a pretty good laptop to be able to attend the lab sessions. Your laptop needs to be able to run Substance Painter, Unity, Photoshop, etc. smoothly to be able to follow along. One of my friends wasn't able to run Substance Painter on his laptop for an entire semester, and it was fair to say that he did fall a little bit behind. I cannot stress this aspect enough. You need to talk to other people to be able to pass. You need to ask for help, ask for feedback, and there are plenty of group projects that do affect your grades a bunch. So, be social. DAE might not be for you, but that doesn't mean game development is not for you. The teachers themselves even showed us this flowchart. The GSI course is in pretty rough condition. Some subjects require drawing or Unity game programming knowledge, even though you would never need this if you are just trying to create music for games. Some teachers are pretty unclear in feedback or general info. Make sure to talk to other students so you are aware of everything provided or get extra feedback. A lot of people take on an IoT since it feels like you need an extra year to complete the model trajectory. This take is very heavily debated, but it is true a lot of people take an IoT. The course is really fun and engaging. The campuses are really nice and clean. Sometimes you will receive a score you think would have been higher, but once a 7 turns to a 9, you know you're going the right way. The GGP major is really competitive, and there are some toxic people enrolled. Listen to feedback, not blatant criticism. Now for some common misconceptions about DAE. You need to have prior knowledge of everything. All subjects start from scratch, but the tempo is quite high. If you feel like you need an extra boost to start your DAE career, there are some introductory courses you can follow in September. The math subject is impossible. All the math you see during AMP1 is pretty surface level in my opinion. You may see some aspects new to you, which can be very difficult, but you don't need to make 5-page calculations. If you had 3 hours of maths per week in high school, that should be fine. Otherwise, the summer course or introductory course is recommended. International students beware, the level of math can be different from your country, so if you're unsure, look into it. The main math and physics subjects are basic kinematics, trigonometry, sine functions, and matrix calculations. You need to be good at drawing to do IGP. All IGP art courses are doable, even if you're not an artist. Vector and 3D art are very different from freehand drawing. They're even removing the one real drawing subject that IGP had, rest in peace 2D graphics. So you might not even have to draw. Most IGP students don't have any art experience, so you're not alone. You can just game at school. During most lectures, the teachers don't allow laptops, and I'm afraid you will be too busy during lab sessions. Sorry! The teachers are mean and they want you to drop out. It is true that the teachers often mention that you can drop out if you'd like, especially at the start of each semester. Some people find this really discouraging and mean. However, this is because if you drop out soon enough, you get your study points back, and you can refund part of your tuition. And if you recall that on average 70% of students drop out during the first year, they really only say this with your best interest at heart. So don't let it get to you. Should you study DAE? If you're passionate about pursuing a career in the gaming or entertainment industry and the making of games, if you want to make new connections, you're creative, you're ready to work your ass off, go for it. About IGP, I think it's a course that really gives you all you need to know if you want to get into the gaming industry, maybe apart from the business side. At first, I was amazed. There were plenty of new things to discover around town, and many new people to meet. As an introvert, it was quite scary and a bit of a struggle finding my way around alone. But I was honestly thrilled to meet so many new faces. The school itself is pretty hard, to say it simply. It's really important to be caught up with all of your courses and to seek help whenever you need it. I'm one who's bad with time management, and I end up doing all-nighters. Don't be like me. Be good with time. Have a good sleep schedule. School does often start at 8:30, but it's a really good school. It's worth attending or at least trying out, just as long as you stay passionate. I find that I study or work most efficiently when I like what I'm doing. One misconception I had before coming to DAE was that everybody here would already be geniuses at coding or art. But once I got here, I realized we're all just figuring things out as we go. There are definitely some super talented people around, but most of us are learning, struggling, and growing at our own pace. It's okay not to know everything right away, but what matters is staying curious, asking for help, and improving little by little every day. Starting school in another country is pretty overwhelming. It's not only the new school system, it's also about learning how to live in a completely different environment. It's a bit of work coming to Kortrijk at first. Registering at the city hall is, for example, something every student has to do. But then there's daily life. If you haven't cooked for yourself before, that's a fun skill to learn. And I personally hadn't ridden a bike much before coming to Kortrijk, so it was the same for that. Here, biking is definitely the way to get around. Make sure to rent one or buy a second-hand one. I'd also recommend learning some basic Dutch phrases. Even a simple "dank u wel" goes a long way. But be kind to yourself. I believe learning how to live in another country comes naturally, but it just takes time to adjust. Right now, I'm looking back at how far I've come, and I've learned so much. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. And don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button below. If you have any questions about my experience at DAE, feel free to drop a comment below. I hope I have given at least some valuable info. I do want to do more with this channel, but I'll see how much time I have. Bye bye! Maybe till next time!